This is going to be a weird video because typically when I cover a new laptop, I will focus primarily on the hardware. But right now, because Windows, the operating system, is in such a bad state, I think it has an impact on how we should view all of this hardware to begin with. So for years, Windows devices have been chasing Apple's MacBooks. First, it was about build quality. We wanted Windows laptops that were built as well as Apple's MacBooks. But then in 2020, it became about their chip. When Apple dropped the M1 chip, that thing was so much better than anything else in the market. It was crazy. People switched operating systems, people switched ecosystems because of that chip. It was so good. Now for Intel, it was a journey. Ever since then, they've been in the kitchen just cooking, desperately trying to make laptop chips that were competitive in this space. And today they finally have something that's excellent, like actually excellent. So this is their Core Ultra Series 3, and this thing is so good. For multi-core, we're getting great performance gains over the previous generation at the same energy consumption. If you're doing renders or you're compiling code or doing anything that can just take advantage of all the different cores on a chip, these are really nice. But the biggest gains, like the most impressive thing about these new chips, are the graphics. The new GPUs are built on their Xe3 architecture, and the highest performing version of it is their 12-core GPU, and it really is that 50% improvement in performance that they were claiming. These are so good. I genuinely feel comfortable enough queuing up for a ranked match on this device. And considering these are like thin and light productivity, work-focused laptops that are not marketed as gaming devices, to be able to pull this off is amazing. Keep in mind that all of these benchmarks come from their top tier chip, the X9 388H, and if you want that super powerful GPU, it only comes in the chips that have the X in front of it. So there's 3 of them, I think. There's 1 X9 and 2 X7 SKUs. If you do go for any of the non-X chips, those have fewer GPU cores, and so they're not as powerful graphically. Now, if you compare this to other integrated GPUs, these are clearly great performers, but it is not as powerful at the top end as the Strix Halo chips from AMD. But those chips, as nice as they are for one, crazy expensive, but two, are not energy efficient. Those things need a lot of juice to be able to pull off those frame rates. So you get shorter battery life, louder fans, hotter devices, the whole works. Now the other thing I noticed about the new Intel GPU is that when you reduce the wattage on this chip, it maintains great performance. So once you get to like 20 watts, it already starts to outperform the Strix Halo. At 15 watts, it's even more pronounced. And that's the power profile that a lot of handhelds try to target, like something like the ROG Xbox Ally. These handhelds love that lower wattage, and I feel like Intel knows they have a very good chip, and I would not be surprised if they have some kind of handheld that use some kind of like tweaked version of this chip, because the numbers you're seeing there are just off the laptop. 3D applications also see some decent gains. I'm not going to say that they compete with discrete GPUs. Those are still going to be the best performers, but for an integrated solution, these are great. Now, in terms of battery life, Intel has gotten quite a bit better with energy efficiency over the past couple of years. This chip is also quite good from my early testing. If there was one thing I would knock about this chip, it's just the single-threaded performance. It's still great, but if you compare it and you look at what else is on the market, there are faster chips than this when you benchmark it. Okay. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's not just about hardware, right? The user experience you get from a device like this, a large part of it stems from the software. And right now, Windows 11 is just, it's in a bad space. A lot of it stems from the fact that they're just shoving AI down our throats. The big one is Copilot. It's got its own key, it's in the taskbar, it's in the start menus, it's everywhere, it's in your apps. And everybody who uses a Windows laptop knows how just obtrusive that whole Copilot thing has been. Then there's Windows Recall, the thing that takes snapshots and like is basically a keylogger on your device. And they're marketing it to us as if people should be stupid enough to want this. And then there's the ads. Like these are $2,000 or $3,000 machines sometimes, and they're like, hey, these are some suggested apps. Do you want to install Microsoft OneDrive? Do you want these like apps that you'll never ever use and clearly don't want, but we're getting paid to show you, so we're going to show it to you? Like, this is so Windows 11 right now. They're trying to solve problems that nobody has. The worst part of it is that at Microsoft, they know that nobody has these problems, and yet they continue to force feed this stuff to us. They're like, hey, maybe you'll like it this time. So recently, the CEO of Microsoft was at some event, and he was basically like, you guys need to start using our AI tools that we've been forcing onto you so that we can justify the electricity use that it costs to provide this stuff. And like, clearly nobody wants it, or else we would have used it, right? This is like, there's everything about this is wrong. Now, I bring this up because from the perspective of people who are interested in this laptop or interested in devices that use these new chips, remember I said at the beginning of the video, years ago, when M1 dropped, people switched operating systems and people switched ecosystems because of that chip. That chip was so good that was like, okay, I will try this Apple stuff because it's just such an awesome chip. It's like the reverse right now. People are like, this software is so bad. This is such a terrible operating system that even if this amazing hardware has caught up and in many ways like exceeded what Apple delivers, even though this hardware is awesome, it comes at a time when Windows is arguably in the worst state it's ever been in. And people have choice here, right? These aren't gaming laptops where you have to use a Windows system. This is like, people are making investments for their productivity by purchasing these things, right? You're buying something to hopefully improve the way that you work and just improve your workflow. And if you're fighting around AI obstacles and all this like surveillance software, like it's just ridiculous. So yeah, you can see why there's been an increase in like Mac OS users and Linux users. Like there's a reason.